welcome to What's Cookin' in Heritage Hunt. Hi everyone, I'm John Johnson with the Food and Beverage Committee, and welcome to What's Cookin' in Heritage Hunt. And yes, there's lots of cooking in Heritage Hunt, and there always is. So let me just take a few things to remind you about. You know, we're moving into fall now, so there'll be a lot of activities, including concerts like the Heritage Hunt Little Theater and Larceny and Old Lace, an old classic that will be a real favorite. We got a murder mystery dinner theater coming up. And of course, our salute to veterans, which is always a popular event here in Heritage Hunt. So just stay tuned, informed. You know, there's hunt happenings that comes out whenever there's something going on, some new exciting event. And of course, each Friday, you'll see the e-com that comes out, plus, of course, the Horn magazine. So stay tuned, stay informed, check the website. Always know what's happening here in Heritage Hunt. My special guest today is Pete Rocco, Vice President Operations of Cookin. Pete, it's a pleasure to have you here on What's Cookin' on Heritage Hunt.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate you having us.
So Pete, what's your background in the food industry? Maybe we'd like to get a little bit better acquainted.
Sure. So I started working in the kitchen when I was 14 years old, just looking to pick up some extra money. Wanted to buy those pair of Nike Air Jordans, you know, when I was younger, and my family couldn't afford those. So we'd wash dishes and in the kitchen, peeled shrimp. Took a liking to the food service business. I worked at college, put myself through college that way. At the same college I went to school, I did the food services there. And, you know, I started the full-time career at 22. So I've been doing it since I'm 14, full-time since I'm 22. Probably regret that if I could change some things, but I'm here now at 50, and it's paid off. You know, I've had a lot of success and failures, but you know, it's been a long career so far.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you here. So, what's the background of Cookin? Maybe you could tell us just who is Cookin, because
Sure.
We've heard the name, and some people are familiar with it, but maybe our audience would like to know.
Sure. So I've been with Cookin for 25 years, so most of my career. When I joined Cookin, we were a small privately owned company by a gentleman named Joseph Pacifico. He started it out of his garage.
Wow.
Doing grab-and-go kind of drop-off sandwiches and stuff like that in the 60s. And he built it to about a $250 million company. And then he decided to sell the company in 2016 to the Compass Group. So Cookin is still Cookin. We run colleges, university, private schools, business and institute, we call them, like office buildings. And I run the catering division. And our catering division is comprised of many venues that also do restaurants, similar to what we're doing here. A little bit different. This is a little bit different. It's a unique environment here. So we sold to Compass Group in 2016. Now we're part of the Compass Group. Compass is the largest food service company in the world. It's a global company. In North America, there's about 500,000 employees. But we run Cookin as Cookin, but we have the support and the backing of the Compass Group.
So why was Cookin interested in Heritage Hunt?
Well, we had a new president. In January, he came in. His name was Peter Witowski. He was on the show.
And he was on the grill.
He was on the grill. That's right. He was on the grill. I wasn't. I was somewhere else. Sucker. So he came in January. He took over. He was part of the Compass Group. So he's an internal candidate from Compass that came over and took on the Cookin Group as the president, and he wanted to expand my division, and he thought the opportunity to go into these kind of communities would be, it kind of fit well with our culture. It fit well with what we do in New York and up north, and we feel like there's a great opportunity in this arena to grow the business. So we came into Heritage Hunt, and we got an RFP from Michael Steinberg. He asked if we were interested. We came down. The property was beautiful. We were very impressed with how, you know, the grounds and the way it was kept. And then we saw some opportunity here, and we felt like we can help help the community, because it wasn't in a good place when we walked through it a couple of times, and I guess we'll get into that a little bit more. But
we'll talk about that.
But we thought we can help here and make it better, and make the amenities here a little bit more than what you're doing now.
So, how do you assume the role as provider? It wasn't like you just walked in here and found a new key, and opened the door, and started serving.
No, it was not like that at all.
And we know there were some issues and problems, and maybe just a little background on some of that. How did that work?
Sure. So we put a bid in we were interested in the property. We put a bid in. We kind of pitched our ideas. Obviously, there's financial, things that go into all of it as well. There was a couple other companies that were in the process. The Food and Beverage Committee and the board and a group of people, I don't know exactly who that was made of, made a decision to choose Culinart. That's how we want. It was a process,
sure.
But this process was a little bit different. Usually these processes, takes, from day of awarding of the contract to actually taking on the property, it's usually a 60 to 90 day turnaround. This one was 35. No, I don't even think it was 35. We had holidays in between. It was less than that. So it was a very quick flip from one service provider to the other, which is a little bit unusual. But we said we would do it, so we did.
Well, we mentioned the 4th of July a moment ago. I think you really hit it out of the ballpark on that day, and we had a great time. A lot of people came out, enjoyed it, and they got acquainted with some of the Culinart people. And I'm sure we're going to have more of those. Now, I know you did run in some issues and problems that were rather unique here, particularly with the kitchen. And I think people have heard a lot of rumors and comments, and maybe you could kind of just fill us in some of the gaps.
Sure.
What was really involved in
that? I mean, it was. So we walked into the property. We knew we had to do some work. When we got here on July 1, we really got into it, and it was a lot worse than we had thought. The cleanliness was not there. The equipment was poorly maintained. The freezer wasn't working, and then we discovered we had a hood problem, which I thought something was wrong when we kind of went through, but I thought maybe it was a belt or something like that. So on July 2nd, we had the hood company come down that was currently cleaning the hoods, and I waited for them at 8 o'clock at night, and I went up in the attic with the guys to see what was going on, and we realized that the hood situation was not up to par, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Not up to what it should have been.
Right.
But so we discovered that it was, we had an engineer come in once we discovered the issue. Culinart did, and we worked with Michael Steinberg and the board and kind of figure out what was going on. And then we realized that a section of the hood hasn't been cleaned for years, which then it was a fire hazard. So we had to shut down a lot of our kitchen, more than half of our kitchen. Everybody's saying half. We shut down 70 to 80% of our equipment.
Wow.
In that process. And we were trying to balance the service and at least maintaining some level of something with the equipment that we had. And it was a very challenging circumstances. What we thought where we wanted to be, at the end of July, we had to pretty much stop everything between training and creating menus and things. These things take time. It's a process to train the team and everything else. And we had to pivot, and then we had to pivot again, and then we had to pivot again. And we came into all these complications outside of the equipment we had to replace, and there was just a whole host of issues. But we tried to continue to service the community the best we can. And I think, as a group here and as a community and the board, we've got a lot done in 45 to 60 days to get the place where we're at today. We still have a lot of work to do. I feel like our July 1 never really happened. We had all these expectations in July of where we wanted to be in October, our July 1 is really starting now. We're 3 months behind where we wanted to be, and that's a frustration. It's not what we expected to walk into as a company.
Right.
This is not what we signed up for, to be quite honest with you. But we're committed to the property and we're committed to the community, and it's taken a lot of time and resources from me and for the team here and the corporate office, and there's a lot of people that have been involved to try to get this right, and you can't fix something that hasn't been managed well in 8 years and 45 days. And we still have some projects that we still have to do, but we got the big ones out of the way for now, and we're starting to pick up momentum. It's a shame because we had a good 4th of July. You're right. It was great.
Yeah.
We had great momentum and our intentions were there. If we probably can do it all over again, knowing what I know now, I'm a lot smarter sitting here. 45 or 60 days later, we probably should have shut it down with the golf course and did this a little bit differently and opened up the right way. But here we are now, and there's a lot of exciting things that we're looking forward to doing going forward.
All right, in the short term, where do you see the next things happening? What's going to happen, say, coming up soon?
Yeah, sure. So we finally we're really 1 week into having a full kitchen back. So we started back to our full menu last Friday. It's been well received. I think the quality has been better now because the guys were cooking on a 6-burner stove and a convection oven, and now they have their full line of equipment. So I think our culinary team is very strong now. We've got some really good people in the kitchen. We've created a daily cleanliness program, so we have temperature logs in place. We have a cleaning checklist in place every day. So the kitchen's in a much better place than it was. And then we have to work on the front of house still. We lost some staff in August. Just because if they aren't making the money, we're not as busy, you start losing people. So we kind of had to rebuild all that again. So like I said, we started the full menu last Friday. We're going to introduce a happy hour again, Tuesday through Saturdays. That's going to come out soon. We're working on a fall menu because honestly the menu that we're working on was the one that we kind of started in July, but now we're into the fall already. So in a couple of weeks we're going to introduce a new fall menu. Now we have a couple of exciting events going on. The Food and Beverage Committee is working with us. Murder Mystery Nights happening. We got Salute to Veterans happening. And then, the Thanksgiving and the holidays and everything else. So, there's some good things going on now. We're starting to pick up some steam again.
Great. So, further down the road, what's your vision for the future here as far as food and beverage activities here at Heritage?
I think what I've seen and what I've learned in the last 45 to 60 days versus what, when we came in here, when we create activation in the restaurant area, like we had a game night last week here, and we had a really busy Tuesday. There was like 70 or 80 people that we served for dinner, and then this Tuesday we had 4 covers and 2 people at the bar. So it was quiet. So I think activating the space in a way that gives people a reason to come, besides just having something to eat, I see as an opportunity. I think that I want to get this right, the restaurant piece right, the bar right. I don't want to bite off more than we can chew and spread ourselves too thin. Our focus is on this right now, and getting this the way we feel it should be. Then we want to look at opportunities in Marsh Mansion. We want to talk about some kind of coffee service down the road, looking at the space and knowing the space. I think there's a couple opportunities in this building where we can actually create an environment where we have a coffee cafe, but we're working with the board, and that's going to take money, and although I know there's a lot of other things going on in the community, it's not a priority to everybody, but it's an amenity to some degree. And then we have to start growing the catering again. I think the catering is going to help us offset some of the costs that it takes to run the everyday business here. So our goal was to help the community managing the expenses, and that's going to be our continued goal. And the longer we're here, the more we'll understand it and have conversations to run the business more efficiently, you know. But we're learning, you know, and we've lost 3 months, so that's the frustrating part, you know, for us. But I, you know, I feel like we're in a good place now. I feel like there's some people in the community that are frustrated, and I understand that, and I'm glad we're doing this because I don't think they understand the level of issues that we've had.
Sure.
It's not, you know, this is supposed to be a turnkey situation.
Right.
You walk into it when you get a new contract and you do a little cleaning, and, you know, the first thing I did on July 1st was we went to Home Depot and got a power washer and a floor scrubber. That's not normal, you know, but our team did that, you know, and we painted and we did a lot of things that we felt needed to get done, and that's not every food service company would do that.
Sure.
So I think,
Sure.
you know, we're trying to be a good partner here.
Well, Pete, I hope that we'll get you back again in the future. We'll talk some more about this and a lot more positive things coming up and happening. And I know that people are excited about the changes. And there's so much going on. You know, in Heritage Hunt, I kind of marvel myself when I look around and see all the things that are happening in this community.
Yeah. You know, I get a lot of people say, when I'm here, say a lot of really nice things to us and say, you know, we appreciate you being here. You know, the food has been good. They're having really good experiences. There's a couple that aren't, and we can't get it right all the time. But I was just looking at the comment cards, honestly, and we use those comment cards. So it's important that, you know, everybody fills them out. Look at the comment cards; they've been pretty positive. You know, 5s, a couple of 4s, a couple of 2s and 3s. You know, can't make everybody happy, but you know that's the food service and industry. But yeah, we're excited to be here. It's a great community.
Well, as again and again, we keep telling people, stay tuned, stay involved in what's going on. You know, you've got plenty of opportunities to, they see hunt happenings and the e-com that comes out and the TV and so forth. So we want people to know what's happening, and this is just one of those. So thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, John.
I really appreciate it.
Yep, I appreciate
and
you.
To all of you, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Be kind to one another in this chaotic world we live in. Bye-bye, everyone.